Welcome back, everyone. We are back for our second and final match of the night. We have a nice little, I said Diamond 4, correction, Plat 4 match, but either way, versus Purgatory versus Green Needle here. So we have a nice little matchup for us. On the side of Purgatory on our orange team, we have, I believe that's Czar, Finnegan, Frosty, and MBCK13. And for the side of Green Needle in the arena, we have Cloak, I believe that's Onstuds, Klex, and Quizwiz. So we'll be getting started very shortly once we get our ready-ups in here. See what we have going on here. So looking at our ladder once more, we are a little bit further up the ladder this time, a little bit closer to the top here, as we are looking at a number 16 with Green Needle and number 15 with Purgatory. Another match with our teams right next to each other here, so see how this goes. I believe we're just waiting on a ready up from Want to Say Purgatory. That might be it. I think Purgatory might be just switching into player real quick, so see what is going on there. For anybody who missed it, our first match, let me make sure I have their names right one more time. Whoops. We had our first match with Drop Dead versus Ramp. We had a pretty wild first match. If you want to go ahead and watch that, we have that in the VOD, or it will be uploaded on YouTube whenever it gets auto-uploaded. But Purgatory may be swapped one more time. I think Purgatory might be swapping out a player. They currently have 5 in the arena, as I believe does show up on the stream there. So see who stays. As of course, I don't think they intend on attempting to do a 5v4 on a casted match. All right, looks like we have settled things. So it looks like our final Purgatory roster is going to be Czar, Finnegan, Frosty, and swapped out MBCK with Dog Food. Okay, we have Viper in chat knowing that's a tech issue, so hopefully get that sorted shortly here. I believe Viper in chat is from Purgatory as well, I'd like to add, so maybe get some commentary as they watch their team play. But with that said, we do finally have our ready ups in here, so we will be getting started here with our neutral joust, of course. Coming straight in, it's going to be Green Needle trying to get that knockout, but ends up being Finnegan who ends up getting that. Cloak holding onto that. Gonna get the shot over into the bubble. Tries to go off the backboard there, but the players from Purgatory are there just in time to make sure that doesn't happen. Cloak does get that once again. Some nice pass work coming in here as they do a beautiful cross. Both people in goal are stunned out, dropping it in for the two from just a few meters away. Very nice starting move there. Going to now see how Purgatory decides to take their first joust advantage of this game. Going to be Dog Food leading that out. Going to drop it up over. Tries to get a pass over to Frosty, but it bounces off of the wall instead. So it's going to be recovered by Green Needle, waiting on the other side for it. Dog Food does end up covering that one more time, though. Cloak in the stack with Klex does end up getting that once more. Gonna send that over to OnStuds, who's going to pass it back up over to Klex, passing it back over to Cloak, and back up over to that stack right there. Gonna move it down into the Purgatory zone, moving some quick passes down the field now, but Purgatory is there, making sure that's not gonna happen. Ends up in Green Needle's zone one more time. Zar now has an open shot opportunity, is going to miss, unfortunately for them though. He's now just gonna bounce around waiting for someone to grab it, and that person is gonna be OnStuds. Klex gonna send that up over to Cloak. Cloak gonna try to get a clear out, but bouncing off that geometry in an unfavorable manner. Going to be Dog Food who has that for a moment. Frosty ends up holding on to it, passing it straight back to them. Now with the disc possession here, sitting in the Green Needle zone and trying to make an offensive move, as Frosty maybe has an open goal shot unless someone gets back into it in time. They do not. That is a open 3 as they back out for it as well. They see the opportunity and they take that Purgatory. Now up by 1 point after that 3-pointer right there. Gonna see how Green Needle this time decides to take their first joust advantage on this time. Gonna be OnStuds who has that. Dropping that over to Klex. Klex gonna be sending that up over to Quiz Wiz. Quiz Wiz holding on to it, trying to thwart that stack there, but Dog Food is the one who ends up with that. However, that stun isn't going to be stopping, or is going to be stopping them rather. It does end up in Purgatory's hands once more, however. Finnegan has that, tries to get a clear out, but holds onto it for a little bit too long. Cloak steals it with an open 3-pointer. They are going to 100% take that, bring Green Needle up by 3 points here, taking their 2-point lead back. See how Purgatory takes this one again. Going to go for the right side this time. Finnegan has that, but stolen by Klex. Gonna try to go for the open half-court shot. Doesn't quite make the half-court, but they have the stack ready just in case to slam it in for the 2, and they make it happen and make it connect. That is another 2 points up for Green Needle here. See how Purgatory fights back on this one. Definitely some good movement I'm seeing from both sides for sure. I think Green Needle just kind of got the jump on that one, especially stealing their joust advantage is going to be a big deal. Don't think Purgatory like that, though, as they're going a little bolder on this one, sending it over to the trench. Zar moving in on that one. Moving into the bubble. Going to try to go for the shot, but Cloak is ready for it with a beautiful save. Is going to be trying to go for it. Dog Food, I think, just narrowly missing that disc, unfortunately for them. But they do end up recovering that. Zar now moving in, sending it over to Finnegan. Moving on the bubble, tight defense around the goal right now. A lot of players just kind of sitting around the goal from Green Needle. And it's just gonna bounce around as the players continuously stun each other in a loop. But Finnegan ends up getting that again. We see Purgatory regain possession here. Frosty maybe trying to go off the backboard there, but it's not quite gonna happen. Gonna be bouncing around in that little trap area there. Zara ends up getting that, sending it over to Dogfood. Still holding possession after all this time, I must say. Dogfood sending it up over to Frosty. Frosty trying to find the shot again. I think that bounced off of Cloak's head, if I'm not mistaken. We love the headbutt saves. It works every time. But Zar is on the ring this time and is going to make sure it goes in. Purgatory really just holding on to possession for so long there. Green Needle could not get it out of their side, but we're going to see how they take this again, as they do still have the lead here, but not by much. So we'll see how well they defend that lead. And Stud's going to be leading this here. Got some slow pressure coming from Purgatory. Going to be moving over to Plex, over to Cloak, staying on their side, playing it safe for now. Just making sure to try to spread out that possession and make sure they can make some moves. And they're going to be making that move now as they speed it up a little bit, sends it over into the Purgatory zone, but nobody is quite ready for them to take that. It's going to be Zar who ends up getting that. Dogfood dropping that, tries to get a clear out, but that is not quite the shot they wanted, I don't think. So it ends up on their side instead. QuizWiz maybe has an open shot here, gonna send it over to Klex for the safety net, who is going to drop it in for 2 points, bringing them up by another 2 points, and indeed defending that lead. Just a little over 4 minutes and just a little, or rather exactly 4 points between our teams here. Definitely both teams putting up a very tough fight here. Dogfood moving in. Gonna send that up over to Zar. Zar sending that to Frosty. Frosty gonna cross it over to Finnegan. Good plays. I mean, really good passes here. And it's gonna work for them as they move in for the 2. Great defense from Green Needle, but those passes from Purgatory are just unbeatable, it looks like. That is 2 points up for them. Green Needle, once again, in the same position they were just one advantage ago, I believe. Where they still have that 2-point lead, but just a little bit less time now. They're going to be sitting up on that nest, just really waiting with that pressure. They're going to take advantage of the fact that they have the point advantage. They're going to send it clean down into the Purgatory zone. That may have been a pass for QuizWiz that did not quite end up in the place they wanted to. They do gain possession for just a moment, but that pass does not end up where they want it to, and it's going to be Purgatory who ends up getting that again. Send over to the Green Needle zone, and with an open goal, but no, it is missed. Is going to bounce around until someone can come collect it. It's going to be Zar who gets that, holding on to their offensive possession here. And it may still be an open goal. The defense for Green Needle is nowhere to be seen. They're slowly coming back in, but they do finally manage to get possession of that and send it into the Purgatory zone with a clear, but it doesn't look like they have any stacks ready. Nor really does Purgatory here, but they do happen to have players down here ready for it. It's Finnegan who ends up getting that at first. Tries passing around, gets it, but it is QuizWiz who has that, sending over to Onstuds. Onstuds sending that over to Cloak. Cloak moving in to Onstuds, who maybe has an open goal shot, but that angle means it goes into the ding ring, unfortunately for them. They are slowing it down a little bit now that they have their players in place and some possession to take. Tries to get a reset to Klex, but that bow tie is in the way. It's going to bounce around. Finnegan ends up getting that. It's in the Green Needle side now. Purgatory has possession once again. Really a lot of turnovers here. I think both teams have excellent offense and defense here. It's just who is able to pull ahead and make sure that they can keep it on one end. Right now, Purgatory is holding on to that. Zar taking things a little bit slower, trying to find that pass as that stack moves in on them. It's going to end up in Finnegan, one-on-one with Onstuds, and they're going to take it for the 2. 17.3 meters per second. Now, finally, tied back up. 9 versus 9. Green Needle has the joust advantage here with just a little bit over a minute and a half here. We're going to see seriously how they take this, because this is for all the marbles, isn't it? And the nerves might be kicking in as it bounces off that station with an open 3. That is devastating for Green Needle, but Purgatory with a clean 3 coming in from Frosty there. Unfortunate opening for Green Needle. I think that Mind Game may have taken on a little bit, as tying up with such little time left on the clock. A bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? but they have one more chance to take this. It's just 3 between them. But Purgatory gaining possession one more time, gonna send it very quickly over into the green eel bubble. Frosty has possession one more time. Players closing in on him. Is gonna try to go for the very tight angle, but does not quite happen. They do have players in a stack ready to try to collect that again, but they're stunned out. Cloak with the hands is gonna be holding on to that, trying to find an opening. There's not much time, but they know that they need to play this carefully, and they're going to play it carefully indeed, and it might just work for them. We might be going into an overtime, as that careful play paid off very well as they made a very quick maneuver off into the Purgatory zone with a little dribble play there, I believe, sending it into their goal for the 3, now tying us 12-12. 15 seconds on the clock. Purgatory has a chance with their advantage to make a very, very quick play, and I imagine they will try to, but we may be going into overtime with Finnegan stunned out, the disc bouncing around. Onstud sending it out. We're getting into overtime.
OT. Get to your launchers.
Holy clutch, says the one in chat. I concur. I think that was a amazing play to bring that one back, truly, because you can't let the nerves get to you. You have to play very carefully. But it's overtime, 12 versus 12. We're back at a neutral joust. Sudden death, whoever gets a goal first. Gonna be Onstuds who ends up with the possession after Purgatory headbutted it in just a little over 2 seconds. Going to end up on Green Needle's side though. Frosty has that Senga over to Czar. Czar moving into the bubble carefully as the defense, bubble defense from Green Needle takes place. Cloak ends up getting that disc one more time though, is going to opt for a clear, but they have a stack ready on it and they may have an open shot. Not quite connecting though. Klex regains that, tries to go in again as they break, but off the ding ring. How unfortunate. Does end up not quite clearing out though. Czar is going to try to send that down to Frosty, does end up connecting. Maybe going to go for a half-court attempt, but ends up being kind of more of a clear into the bubble. Quiz Wiz has that. Frosty gets stunned out, but does manage to send it deep into the Green Needle area just in time, though. Klex gets that. Again, just really trying to get it out of their bubble at this time, but that may not opt well for them as Purgatory has players all around, and Dog Food is going to be there to bring it in for the 2, which is going to end off this first round in favor of Purgatory. 14-12, winning with an overtime 2-pointer. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful stuff from both sides. I think these teams are quite evenly matched. Green Needle taking a, if I'm not mistaken, pretty early lead. Interesting. We saw the blue side take an early lead last game as well, but that's not relevant. But both teams playing very well. I think both teams have an excellent defense and an excellent offense. It really just came down to, I think, I mean, well, I say came down to, we came down to an overtime, realistically. But I think it did really come down to which team could keep the pressure tight. And I mean, I really want to commentate on that, really from Green Needle, that really careful play again, because they wouldn't have gotten to an overtime if that was the case. Those nerves, I think, kicked in at first where they had a bad bounce. You know, time's ticking. Listen, it can be tough to get those passes where you need them, those clears where you need them, when time is ticking down and you know you need to make a goal. But they played it slow, they played it carefully, and they made that 3. They just couldn't make the overtime, but they have a lot of momentum coming into this. Both teams really do. And it's going to be Green Needle who cleanly gets that neutral possession as we move into this second round here. Whoop. Gonna see who ends up getting that. It's going to be Onsuds who ends up getting that, recollecting it. Cloak holding on to that. Now slowing it down a little bit, trying to draw that pressure from Purgatory out. Cloak holding onto that is going to maybe try to make a pass over to Onstuds, I believe, but that Pac-Man geometry is just in the way. Klex gonna drop that over to Onstuds, but Czar is there to make sure that pass does not happen. Finnegan gets that, so now sending it over into the Green Needle zone. Holding on to it a little bit, one more time. Gonna send it down to Dogfood, maybe gonna be a one-on-one with Onstuds, and in that case, is going to be 2 points in for Purgatory, starting this round off strong.
12, 11,
Green Needle gonna lead this Joust advantage with a little dribble play from Cloak and Onstuds here. Be moving it just down, nice and slowly down the arena. Sending over to Klex. Klex and Cloak just gonna pass it back and forth here. Really spreading Purgatory thin right now. But that's not gonna work if they can't collect a pass. Oh no, Dog Food ends up getting that. Sending it over into the Green Needle zone. Gonna be Czar who ends up getting that once more. Walking it down the bubble right now. Really nobody pressuring him right now. He might just walk into the bubble, but it doesn't matter if he can't make the shot, unfortunately, off of the ding ring. It's going to be Klex jumping for that disc as everyone tries to go for it there. Going to bounce around. Going to be Dogfood and Czar who end up getting that disc first. Though they do drop it, though, and that might be a chance for Green Eel to take it back. But they are quick with the hands and with the stuns. Quizwiz does end up recovering it, though, as Cloak now backing things up a little bit. A little bit of pressure coming in. They have a reset opportunity, and they're going to take it. Passing it over to Onstuds. Onstuds now with a chance to move into the bubble, but they don't see Finnegan there. Maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there. Nobody to let him know that he is in danger. Going to end up in the Green Eel side, though, but they are able to recover it one more time. A lot of back and forth in the arena here. This can't stay on one side for too long this round, I'll say. But it does end up in the bubble for Green Needle here. Quizwiz is there and is the only one there for that matter. Who's gonna clear it straight back down to Purgatory. Just a lot of clears going back and forth, I believe. But Purgatory is here to back up that stack that time and is gonna send it in for the 3 now, bringing them up 5-0 to start off this round. A little bit of a slow couple minutes we had going there, just kind of some back and forth. See how Green Eel takes this up. Maybe I have a feeling they may want to speed up the gameplay a little bit, try to knock Purgatory with some pace here. Purgatory may have the same idea, as they are going to be very quick on the regrab, stealing that Joust advantage before it can even happen and sending it in for the 3. Maybe that speed up won't happen if Purgatory does it first. Very quick gameplay from Purgatory there. That is going to be a pause coming in from Green Needle using their timeout for this match. That was going on here. But with that said, fair use for a timeout. But see what's going on. But yeah, Purgatory. Yeah, in contrast to round 1, they're the ones taking the very early lead this time around, of course. Purgatory just really playing hard and fast on this one. Certainly. See what we're looking at here in terms of our players. But yeah, once again, just playing very hard and fast. There was a few minutes there where I think both teams were just kind of desperately trying to keep the disc out of their side. So we saw quite a bit of back and forth from both the teams there. Just, oh, I'm going to clear it. Actually, no, I'm going to clear it. Just a matter of, once again, just having those stacks ready to go. Because if you don't, the other team probably does. And that can happen quite often and result in where you're just seeing those turnovers repeatedly over and over again. Or if you just have someone there. Let's see what we're looking at for our stats while we do happen to have the scoreboard up. See, we're actually seeing pretty even, which I actually, that's not particularly surprising to me. Pretty even stats all around, especially in terms of looking at, say, like possession time and our scores. Of course, the scoring being a little different for the second round. I believe the totals show round totals while the scoreboard is showing. Could be wrong. Otherwise, but yeah, interesting note. The possession time on Purgatory is almost even between every player, which I find to be quite interesting. Just a little over 1 minute on each player. It does actually look pretty similar for that on Green Needle as well. Also, I see you in the chat, Creed. I do believe I remember casting you. Hi, hello. Um, we're seeing especially some goals from Cloak and Klex on the side of Green Needle. This is a mid-round pause, yes. This is, I believe, Green Needle's timeout for this. We're about 3.5 minutes into that timeout. And of course, we're seeing that as, since I don't think you can tell from the totals, but just for clarity, uh, we're currently seeing 8-0 in favor of Purgatory for this round two, which, again, contrasting how round one went off the bat, where we saw Green Needle take the early lead, and then Purgatory make quite a comeback as they even the score out quite a bit and eventually came back with a quite gracious overtime round one win there. And it looks like we are actually seeing a player swap out on Green Needle. That may have been the decision of that pause there. I believe we swapped out. Let me make sure I have their names right. We swapped out On Studs for Reef. We'll see if that is the roster they decide to play with, as we are nearing the end of their allotted timeout time, and they indeed will be unpausing now that they've completed their swap and their timeout there. Get some rest, swap their player out. Nice and recharged as they try to take this one more time to get their head back in the game, as they have some points to catch up on, as we have a little over 6.5 minutes. Green Needle with Joust advantage. See how they decide to take this. Gonna be Reef who's going to be leading our Joust advantage for that matter. Gonna be trying to pass over to Klex, but bouncing off that geometry, unfortunate. Zara with a very quick swipe out and is going to bounce it all the way into Green Needle's bubble. Cloak does end up getting that juking out dog food though. He's gonna try to maybe get a clear out, does end up in the trap, but Green Needle has those stacks ready to rumble. Does end up in Purgatory's bubble, but so do Purgatory's players. Going to be a little bit of a fight for the disc. Frosty is the one who ends up getting that though. Sending over to Zar, who's going to around the back for the 3. Green Needle tries to get back, but that was just some very good movement that, with the right timing in particular, ending up with another 3 points for Purgatory. Green Needle just not quite able to get back in time. Another shot though, as they get their fresh player back in here. Reef going to be leading our Joust advantage one more time. Going to be sending that over to Klex. Klex sending that over to Cloak. So, got the stack pressure coming in from Purgatory once again, but they're going to move that up over into the Purgatory side. Klex has that, sending it over to QuizWiz. QuizWiz trying to find the cross pass. Purgatory players spread a little bit thin right now. They might have an or Green Eel here might have an opportunity to score here, but not if they can't keep possession of the disc. It's going to be swapping hands quite a bit here. QuizWiz manages to get that one more time. Reef as Finn and Frosty jump out of the goal. That is 2 points finally for Green Needle, coming in from that player that just joined in, Reef. That is. But we are now going to see how Purgatory takes their first Joust advantage of this round. Perhaps a little bit fiercely with how they've been playing. Dogfood's moving that over to Frosty. The Green Eel players are vicious right now, though, as they are right on top of him. Gonna get that disc, or eventually get the disc into the Purgatory zone. Players are gonna be bouncing around for it, though, and it ends up in the hands of Finnegan. Finnegan maybe trying to go for something there. But it ends up in the hands of Frosty, who does eventually bounce it off the backboard for another 2 points, bringing them up. Just trying to get those goals where they can, and it is working out for them. I think Green Eel is definitely changing their strategy a little bit, especially now that they've swapped a player out, maybe player that may like to try some new techniques and such. Indeed, they're going to take their joust advantage a little differently, but that's not going to work as Purgatory is on that and does steal it. Dog Food has an open chance for that too, and they're going to take it. Green Eel players are just a little too far behind in the arena, and that's going to be another 2 points up. There is now a 13-point deficit that Green Eel needs to catch up on, which 3.5 minutes here is definitely possible. It is going to be tough. They're going to have to do that if they want a chance to win this match here after that overtime victory in round 1 from Purgatory. But we'll see how they take it as Finnegan ends up getting that one more time. Czar holding onto that, moving into the bubble, trying to find those pass opportunities and draw out that pressure, of course. Draws it back to Finnegan. That's going to draw out Klex. Going to try to send it over to Dogfood, but that's not quite going to work. It's going to be Cloak who ends up getting that sent out very cleanly into the Purgatory zone, and their players are going to move on that. Reef does get that, but does not hold on to it for long, bouncing it up, and that's going to bounce straight into Zara's hands. Going to end up back in the green needle bubble one more time. Quizwiz has that, moving over to Cloak. Maybe another opportunity here. They're going to opt to attempt a clear. Ends up being a pass. We're going to call that intentional, out of respect, because it turns into one more 3-pointer for Green Needle. Now, finally getting that fight back that we love to see. Just 10 points between them now, a little less than 2.5 minutes here. It is technically possible for Purgatory to take this back, especially with some well-timed threes, some well-executed threes for that matter. But it is going to be a very tough fight, and I have to imagine Purgatory is going to take their chance to stall here and take this real nice and slow, which may be an opportunity for Green Needle to speed it up as well and take the jump on Purgatory, but we'll see if that's what they opt to do, as they're just going to pass it smoothly around the bubble right now. Frosty has that, holds onto it for a little bit too long though. Cloak ends up getting that, tries to go for the clear, but it's going to bounce off that middle arena geometry. Dogfood is stunned out, Zara ends up getting it. Frosty moving into the bubble may have a chance as Quizwiz is stunned out and Cloak can't quite get back in time. That's another 2 points up for Frosty. With 1.5 minutes, I do believe we are at mathematical time. But we're still going to see how Green Needle takes the rest of this round and this joust advantage. Try to get those points up while they still have a chance to. Going to be a Cloak and Reef who are going to move that in. Purgatory stack cannot stop that one from happening. Gonna be Klex moving into the bubble, maybe with an open shot here as Zara is stunned in the bubble. Reef is gonna drag that in for the 2. Now bring Green Needle up another 2 points with the time we have left on the clock here.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dogfood is going to just headbutt that down in the arena, and it's actually going to work as it does end up all the way in the Green Needle side, surprisingly. But everyone is kind of trying to get for the disc here. We're going to see Cloak end up actually getting it into the Purgatory zone. It's going to bounce around the bubble. Dogfood has that. Holding onto it. Holding onto it. Dragging it through the field here. Is going to attempt to get a clear out, bouncing off in not quite a favorable manner, however. Quizwiz ends up getting that. Sending it over to Reef, who's going to go for the wide open 3. 23 meters away. Beautiful shot coming in, but unfortunately for them, that is the end of this round as we have 3, 2, and 1 seconds. 17-10 in favor of Purgatory. Beautiful work from both teams here. Purgatory just really pulling ahead, particularly early into this second round here. Green Eel did start to make a comeback here, but it was just not quite enough to catch up for them. Definitely an interesting match, I have to say, just because how even we saw that first round. I mean, that's really what happens when you go from first round warm up, isn't it? Because sometimes you just gotta warm up in the first round a little bit. You gotta see how your team's playing. Maybe you're not fully 100% yet, and you get there, and then suddenly you can crush the second round. No, I'm saying that from experience, sadly, but no, definitely good work from both teams. Beautiful pass work, beautiful regrabs and stuff. Purgatory just playing a little bit faster, a little bit quicker in that second round, I think. And I think especially having that first round win with the overtime helped them quite a bit. because if that hadn't happened and Green Neil did pull ahead, they would have been playing a round 3 right now, and I would love to see a round 3, but I'm sure Purgatory does not, as they would like to get this game over with, and they did. But with that said, very good game, very good work from everyone. This has been Echo Master League on Channel 1. This has been me, HPenny2, and the wonderful Trod on cams as always. And that is everything we have for you tonight. We'll see you again soon. Night, everyone.
It's